Now, to clear up common misconceptions about vasectomies, everything is just pretty much back to normal. There is no real difference. You're not spitting up dust. You're not sitting there and when it's time for you to go, you're like, oh! Bruh. Mind you, I'm saying all of this, I ain't even red pill. Bruh. I applied, they denied my application, told me to get up out of here, they told me to kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
I was crying on the side of the road.
Ready?
You ready? You ready? You ready?
Yeah, we ready to go.
Ready for more? Let's go!
Welcome
to the J&O Show.
We talk about
things that we were never told. I'm Jay.
And I'm O.
And now you know. What up, y'all? Explosions all over the place.
We going back to the explosion.
Yeah, we going back to the explosions. You know why? You know why? I really like it. That's pretty much the only reason why.
All right, we doing explosions.
I'm doing explosions all over the place.
This is back and forth action at its best.
I'm just trying to wake y'all up. It's time for us to go to work.
Yes. All right, y'all. So this is actually a requested video that we're going to do today. So not necessarily a
reaction.
Not necessarily a reaction.
No.
But in a way, yes. But no. But
yeah,
yes.
So they're kind of anatomy.
Yes. What he just said.
All of that. Yeah.
All right. So I don't even know exactly what this is going to be titled. But we just going to be talking about the fall of the red pill.
Done.
What do y'all think? Before we even get started, comment down below. Do you think that this is a thing? Do you think it's happening? Do you think that the red pill community is falling? Yeah. So a couple things that has happened, just in case you may or may not be aware.
Yeah. So we got this request from my OG, one of the OGs of the channel, Anita. We see you in the comments. We asked if you had anything that you wanted us to comment on, and she asked the question: with everything that's going on in the red pill, do you believe that the red pill is gonna slowly simmer out? Because all of the people at the top seem to be getting attacked. Everything's going on. What do you think is gonna happen? So I wrote some stuff down. A bunch of stuff has happened to everybody that gains a lot of momentum in the red pill. To me, this is what started the slow and gradual downfall of the red pill. When I say downfall, I just mean all of the issues it's facing. I'm not saying that it's going down, it's gonna die. And I think the thing that started it all off, to be honest, was the passing of Kevin Samuels. Yeah. I think that ever since then, it has just been going downhill. I think at that point, it was on a constant rise.
Right.
And then it started falling. And then somebody else came in, Andrew Tate came in. And then it started to go up again. And then when he got arrested, it went back down again. And I think it's just been sort of declining from then. So Kevin Samuels passing away, I think, was a huge blow. Because I think that he was probably one of the better leaders, because as harsh as he was, he wanted the return of the nuclear family. And he openly stated and moved in that direction. He talked about discipline for men, being disciplined sexually and not just going after every woman who offers you a piece. And even though he spoke about how high value men acted, and they were, he still was very much pro-marriage, pro-family, you know, keep the unit together and try to do everything you can to keep the family unit together. A lot of these other red pill guys are not necessarily in that space. And I think he was just enough on both sides and said so much of what men were thinking that he was a great leader in the space. And him passing was a huge blow to the community. Damn. And I think it was just suffering ever since then.
Yeah.
Also, the whole situation with Fresh and Fit with the sugar baby thing. Fresh was getting embarrassed because he had a sugar baby, even brought her on the show.
Why do you think she's interested in you?
Ask her.
I was gonna say, can I answer this?
Of course.
I feel like the first day that I met you, having that genuine conversation on the boat, like
on a yacht.
On the boat. Was it 60 foot long? Was it 85 foot?
I couldn't even
Free
tell
drinks?
you. See, I am a very big personality person. So if he came up to me and he just came and was like, hey, let me get your number, that's a no from me. The fact that he invited me, and he invited me out before. Yeah. And it was just the fact that me and my roommate were sitting at home. No, me and my roommate were sitting at home, and I was like, wow, what are we going to do tonight? And then, like, at that moment, he texted me and he was like, hey, do you
ride with scooters or get on the yacht? Let's talk about it.
And he's right. I'm not a materialistic person at all. I could be if I wanted to. I don't care about that shit. Like, my dream car is a Honda Civic. Like, there's nothing about me materialistic.
But he's telling men how to go out and get women, and then come to find out he basically was flashing his money in order to get these women to come to him.
We'll
So that was a big thing, and they lost a little bit of credibility with that. MLB, I think his name is MLB or MLD, I don't know. When he came on and he was on the whatever podcast, and they were talking about people getting divorced too easily over things, and his sound bite that he was just like, yo, you should endure. And they were like, what if it's physical abuse? And he was like, endure.
If there's someone that's very, very young and goes into a marriage and has kids when they're like 18, 19, 20, a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive. Even though it might be rare from what you guys think.
It is.
If it would happen, what would you recommend for those people? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going.
You can't divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive?
Because you got to endure.
Like, he didn't say that if somebody knock you upside the head, you need to get the heck up out of there. That was sort of a big blow. He wasn't a huge figure in the space, but he was big enough to be moving around in the fields with people like Justin Waller. Since we talking about Justin Waller, his whole situation thinking, saying that he's not gonna simp for his daughter.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved, and the dad can be the hero, and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women are always
going to
be jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too. I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or it
Definitely sounds like a guy who ain't got no kids. Wanting to have the best for your daughter is not simping. The thing about simping, and Andrew Tate himself explained this, is that you're using your resources and your time, spending it on somebody who doesn't find a way to reciprocate to you, who just takes and doesn't give back. That's what simping actually is. Believe it or not, guys, you learn a lot from your kids. Watching them, teaching them, they teach you a lot about yourself and about the world.
Yeah, they do.
So you got to keep your eyes open with your children, because you could be missing stuff. If they have never taught you anything, it's because you're not watching. So he definitely sounded like somebody who ain't got no daughter. Simp and daughter in the same sentence.
Halfway.
It's just weird. It's awkward. It's awkward. So he had his little situation. Who else? Roll Tomasi. Now this is the dude that wrote the book on what being red pill is really about. Like, he's the one who he wrote several books and all this stuff, and he gonna get out here. Men who want to be high value should get a vasectomy if they want to do it as fast as humanly possible.
The quickest path to becoming a high-value man. Do not get married. Number 1. Number 2, avoid family creation. Number 3, vasectomy in your 20s. Vasectomy in your 20s.
Moving on. I don't think it's now, to clear up common misconceptions about vasectomies. When you get a vasectomy, there's a healing period, but everything does return to normal function. Normally, it doesn't feel awkward. You don't sit up there and suddenly when you climax as a man, nothing comes out. You can't actually tell that there are no active live sperm inside of your semen. So you still have like a regular experience when it comes to that. The only difference is during the healing period, everything does feel weird. But that healing period isn't like first 3 years.
Right.
That healing period is like the first maybe 2 months. It'll feel a little weird, a little off. First of all, mostly mentally, you just feel weird, so everything else feels weird. But after, the first maybe 2 months of you feeling anything, everything is just pretty much back to normal. There is no real difference. You're not spitting up dust. You're not sitting there, and when it's time for you to go, you're like, oh! And you're done. Not like that. It's real regular. So the issue with the whole vasectomy thing is that, sometimes depending on the person and depending on the surgeon, it might not be reversible. And that's the thing that made that a huge radical thing. Because he was saying this for people who wanted to be high value as soon as possible, work on their purpose without distractions in their 20s, without children. So it sounded crazy because they was like, yo, you sat here and figured out all of this stuff about this red pill stuff, and you thought that was a good thing to say? So he did that tweet, and that was his big thing. Pearl had her thing. Pearl had her whole situation where people were trying to understand if she was racist.
So do you agree with that premise that slavery was embellished, or no?
I think that there are parts that are under embellished, and there are parts that are over embellished. I think it just depends what we're
That's
talking
so
about.
interesting. I've got to know what was over embellished about slavery.
No! Oh, that's a trap.
You know what it felt like? You know what this felt like?
That's a
You know what this felt like? This is like Ethan was like, I know what white people can't say. Now say it. You've activated my trap card. You see how excited he is? Tell me what you don't like about blacks.
If she was against people of color and they called her a grifter, saying that she doesn't really believe any of the stuff she's saying, she's just repeating things that she's come across online. Like I said, Andrew Tate being arrested and then turning Muslim, that was a huge thing. That was a massive blow because the most Googled man on the planet, like what?
Romanian officials released this video on Thursday showing a raid of what is purportedly Tate's home. In all, police served search warrants at 5 homes and detained 4 suspects.
And so the question was, with all of that stuff, do I feel like the red pill is going to die off? The answer, strong, no. As long as there's a feminism, there will be a red pill or a manosphere. It's going to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to have people that's going to come out that's have varying views. Like Pearl, besides the grifter thing, her saying that she thinks that women shouldn't be able to vote. She also thinks that divorce should be illegal unless it's like proven abuse only on one side. But if it's like two-sided abuse, maybe not. Like maybe it should be worked on. A little bit of what she was saying, I get, not the abuse part. And so I understand where she's coming from, but she was just a little too radical. So all of those things that happened to all of these people who became leaders, I don't think that any of them were really good leaders, to be honest, outside of maybe what Kevin Samuels may have been, because despite his delivery, he was more moderate. I think Andrew Tate, even though way more extreme than Kevin Samuels, could have been a good leader just because of what he's accomplished. And I think that like he's showing the ability to evolve his thought. Like instead of just saying crazy stuff that men should just be out here doing X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, he became Muslim. He started to curb, as he's getting older, he's allowing himself to evolve and further perfect his views so that it makes more sense for everybody.
Right.
Instead of just being extreme. So I think he could have possibly been a good leader as he continued to evolve and grow. I think that out of all of the people that are there, one of the people who probably could be there, and this is a maybe, just based on how I've seen him moving in all situations, is MTR. Just because he thinks, like he won't just go and put out a video saying stuff crazy. Like he'll sit back, he'll think about it and see how I should respond. And that's who you want a leader to be. Somebody who doesn't feel the pressure to have to respond right now, would rather think about it and have an appropriate response for what he's going through. So he might be one of the closest people that I've seen. Now, there's a whole bunch I haven't seen. Would probably, if you want to say leader.
Right.
Because the thing about the red pills, there really isn't a leader, just like there isn't really a feminist leader.
Right.
But I don't think they're going anywhere, because as long as there's a feminism, as long as there's modern women, men are going to want to be heard, and there's going to be just another guy that's going to come out. And also, you can't, hitting the mic, you can't expect for any of these people to be perfect and not make mistakes.
Right.
Some of the most notable leaders in the world have all made mistakes. It doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, how revered you are. You can be considered the wisest man that has ever existed on the planet, Solomon. You could be considered the man that was closest to the heart of God, David. You could be considered all of these. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be Abraham.
True.
You could be men that were considered, that people would say are the closest thing to holy that has ever existed on the planet. And they all made mistakes. David and Bathsheba. Solomon became a victim of his own hubris. He became prideful.
Yep.
Abraham sitting up there trying to do for God what God said he would do. Well, God, you taking too long and you ain't doing it right, so I'm gonna go and do something else. So he went and got another woman pregnant. The leaders of every situation are gonna have flaws. They're gonna mess up. It's part of being human. So I think part of it is the expectation that people that are gonna be leaders are gonna be perfect. And I think that's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. We don't need to think that it will ever happen, because it won't. Everybody makes mistakes. But I think that if you were ever to have an official leader of the red pill, mind you, I'm saying all of this, I ain't even red pill. I applied, they denied my application, told me to get up out of here. They told me to kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
I was crying on the side of the road. I'm hitting the mic. I was crying on the side of the road, bro. I had snot bubbles and everything. You remember the little kid from Martin?
Oh, it's just you, Roscoe.
I can't remember his name. He used to be coming up in there.
Is it Roscoe?
Yep. What's his name? Roscoe? The little kid that Martin used to play. Yeah. He had the snot bubble. He always had the snot. I was over there crying. So I really wanted to belong. Really? You know, I felt like I wanted to be a part of something bigger than me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you want to be.
And they said, denied. You can't come here. Why can't I? You love your wife. Oh, man. Come on, man. You know, just mess everything. I'm not even red pill. Like they made a lot of interesting points. They brought out a lot of truth about society that I saw. And then you had the ones that decided to go left and be like, hey, you need to sleep with at least 50 women or 100 women in your lifetime before you get into a relationship. You need to effectively destroy your ability to connect with people and the pair bond before you get into a relationship. You know, so everybody messes up. Everybody has bad things. Look, our battery's going dead. I don't know. I'm gonna come back and see if she has anything that she wants to say. She might not. But if she don't, then this is all y'all gonna see, y'all. Peace.
Press the off button.